What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And today I am once again joined by my good friend Michael Darcy of KC Sports Report. And we are here to break down a massive injury update on Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Hollywood Brown. Michael, we got two pieces of information today, major pieces of information from Nate Taylor of The Athletic talking about Hollywood Brown. So we'll start with the first report, and this is from the KCSN Twitter. Wide receiver Hollywood Brown is expected to practice this week, per Nate Taylor. So that's the first bit of news. And then we're going to use another tweet here from Chiefs Blitz, who is a good friend of the show, both shows for Michael and I. But they also quoted Nate Taylor saying the earliest that Hollywood Brown could return is against the Houston Texans. However, the target date for him to return is on Christmas Day against the Steelers. So, Michael, we knew that Hollywood Brown was on track to return at some point, and the hope was that Christmas Day game. But now we're officially getting the news that he's going to be on the practice field, and that's the first major step towards getting him back on the field. And it sounds like he could really technically return earlier than that, but I think they're probably going to wait until that Christmas Day game. But what are your thoughts on these developments?
Well, it's great that we're going to see Hollywood Brown back at practice. I think that's the biggest piece of news in this video. We've kind of heard the timeline that, maybe he comes back against the Texans. Maybe he comes back against the Steelers on Christmas. So the fact that he's going to be back at practice this week is a massive thing for this team. We've seen the clips of him practicing, getting the work in on the jugs machine. I just saw a clip of him sprinting at some facility in the Kansas City area. So it seems like he is just about healthy and ready to go practice, which is a great thing for this team. And I think going forward, you're going to need to add him into the mix because the wide receivers, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, not a couple days ago. Yeah. The Chiefs have had 4 of their 6 starting wide receivers head to IR at some point this season. And so getting one of those guys back from IR is a great thing. It's going to help this offense out in the long run. Now, I did see something very interesting from Nick Wright, kind of talking about the Chiefs next, I guess 10 to 12 days. And they play 3 games in 10 days, which is something that, listen, I'm not a fan of, but that's what the NFL had us scheduled for. And so he theorized that if the Chiefs could take care of business against the Cleveland Browns and against the Houston Texans, assuming that both Pittsburgh and the Bills lost one more game, they could clinch the 1 seed after beating the Texans. And if they did that, they could rest their guys against the Steelers on Christmas. But with this report that Hollywood Brown's going to come back, I think that we'll probably see the starters play in that Christmas Day game. I'm not sure how the NFL would feel if we're just like, yep, we're not playing anybody. We got the 1 seed locked up.
Yeah, on Christmas Day, they're going to want that game to mean something. Too. Yeah, they're going to want that game to mean something. And Hollywood Brown needs to get the reps in with with the offense, And then also, this isn't just a Hollywood Brown thing. Like, there's a lot of players on this Chiefs team that are either newer or just now getting healthy that need those reps before the postseason. So I think it's imperative that the starters do play regardless.
Oh, yeah. And listen, you can kind of do what you do in the preseason where you play the starters for a drive or two in that final game against the Broncos. But the mindset should be we need to play this Steelers team because you could face them again in the playoffs. And the last thing that I would want this Chiefs team to do is just say, hey,
not have any experience.
No experience needed. We just are going to take our chances in the playoffs. And then TJ Watt says, hello, nice to meet you, Patrick Mahomes. Like, I don't want to have that situation happen, in the playoffs. So I think that playing your guys against Pittsburgh is probably the right course of action. Now, the final week of the season against the Broncos, that's, all up in the air. They could definitely rest their guys, and I'm not going to be super upset. But even at that point, you're going to be playing. Now, I guess you do have kind of a little bit of a mini bye after that Steelers game. Yeah. But, it's not like you're, getting a huge break off. You're still playing a lot of games very quickly, together.
Yeah, the other thing, too, that I think about, with so many games being played so close together on the schedule, it'll probably be more of like an Isaiah Pacheco situation where Pacheco was healthy enough to return for the Panthers game.
Yeah.
But the team said, we don't really need you for this one. So we're going to wait one more week just to be sure and then have you debut against the Raiders coming off of injury. I think with Hollywood Brown, he could definitely return earlier. Like if the playoffs, let's say, started in a few weeks, I think Hollywood Brown would be ready. But they're going to be 100% sure with him, especially I think too, Michael, and we've discussed this a couple times now with DJ Humphries and him getting injured right away. The Chiefs are going to change their approach a little bit and say, we're going to make sure that Hollywood Brown is 100% ready before we throw him out there, just to eliminate that risk of re-injury or him, something terrible happening. And then we'll see him there on Christmas Day, which will be a big game.
Which I'm not trying to completely hijack the video topic, but Josh, it's what? It's Tuesday and we haven't heard anything about DJ Humphries' MRI. Like, I'm not going to say that he's out for the season because I think that's just irresponsible. But, like, why haven't we heard anything about our starting left tackle's injury status as we're almost halfway through the week? But, getting back to Hollywood Brown, I think that the Chiefs probably learned a lot from that, DJ Humphrey situation where it's important to get guys snaps and reps, but rushing them back too quickly after injury could just result in another injury. And so the Chiefs have to be cautiously optimistic with Hollywood Brown, not rush him back too soon. And, if he has a chance to play against the Houston Texans, rest him. What's the need, for him in that game when we need him, later down the stretch in the season in the playoffs?
Or it could just be kind of like when D-Hop made his debut with the Kansas City Chiefs after coming over through trade. I don't remember how many snaps that he played in that first game, but it wasn't many.
No.
You could do this. Like Hollywood Brown could suit up for the Texans, go out there, run a couple routes, like get that game experience or kind of get into game shape, but have it be the plan to not really target him that much, just use him as a decoy, just get him out there running so that he's not taking any impact on that shoulder or anything. That could certainly be an approach that the Kansas City Chiefs take.
Absolutely. And the last thing that I want to see happen is teams look at Hollywood Brown and say, hey, let's hit that shoulder when he's coming across the middle. Or if he's going for a deep ball, aim for that shoulder. Let's get him out of the game. Now, I don't want to accuse any team of going bounty gate again, but I feel like the Chiefs don't need to put Hollywood Brown in an unnecessary situation. And if he got hurt in that Texans game, Josh, I think there'd be some outrage among the Chiefs kingdom because what was the point? Like, what was the point of bringing him back so soon?
Yeah, especially after you think about the way he originally got injured. It was in a preseason game, and that kind of fueled the, hey, let's not play starters in preseason debate that's been going on for years now. So I think they'll be extra careful with him. And also Hollywood Brown is just a guy that's always kind of struggled with injuries, and they need him too. Like, make no mistake, this is going to be a big, big boost for the Kansas City Chiefs to finally have another deep ball threat in this offense, adding more speed. And also someone that's played with DeAndre Hopkins before. They were teammates in Arizona for a little bit. And I do think that is noteworthy because to have two guys that understand spacing wise where they need to be and having played with each other before, I think is a good thing. I mean, having continuity, it's never a bad thing.
Of course. I mean, having that continuity is why the Chiefs have been able to play so many late seasons and won so many Super Bowls, because they have that continuity. And when you already have that with guys that you've traded for or brought in via free agency, that's a massive thing for this team. But I just hope that whatever they end up doing with him, they're careful because, again, there's just no point in rushing him back and getting him hurt. But the fact that he is returning to practice this week, I think is a great sign. And I think we'll probably see, like you said, this turns out to be a lot like Isaiah Pacheco, where he could play against the Texans, but they just say, you know what, it's not worth the hassle. We'll just have him play on Christmas against the Steelers.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page there, and I think that about wraps up this video. Hollywood Brown is going to be back on the practice field for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is just massive. That was the first big step, and Nate Taylor is reporting that he will be back at practice this week, so that's big, and he'll probably talk to the media as well, so we'll get some sound bites, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there, guys. So with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. You can check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com for more. And then, Michael, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on YouTube at KC Sports Report. That's kind of the one-stop shop for everything that I do. If you haven't already, guys, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to Josh's channel. We've been pushing stuff out nearly every single day. So if you guys enjoy the content together, definitely comment down below and let us know your thoughts.
Yep, and if you can't get enough of Michael and I, just head over to his channel, and we'll be talking Chiefs football over there as well. That'll all be in the description, as always. But with all that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.